But there's a short documentary about Lynn Shawcroft and Mitch Hedberg, and one of the things that he says in this old interview is like people ask him for advice all the time, young comedians, and he just says, just write down what's funny. Don't be lazy. Don't be lazy.
That's
and
a good
that's
piece of advice.
great piece of advice, right?
Especially from a heroin addict. It's very rare that you get like non-lazy heroin addicts. I mean, look, I
Don't
love
make me
Mitch
laugh
Hedberg.
at that.
Well, it's not, I mean, it's not funny, but it is
Right.
true, and I think it's important to talk about because that's why he's not with us anymore. He's one of the greats.
He is.
In my opinion, he's one of the most incredibly original
no one
comedians
better.
of all time. He was so good and so clean.
He's super clean,
Yeah, which like for no reason.
Because he was so inventive.
And because
his
he wanted
mind
to
was so
be.
inventive.
Yeah, he was a really unique comic, but he also had a problem with heroin.
He had some drug issues. It seemed.
I like how you say that.
I never.
You should run for office.
Well, right. No. Well, who am I to say? I never. I was friends with Mitch. I never saw him use drugs.
That's true. I was friends with Mitch, and I never saw him use drugs either. But
And I saw him. Yeah, I saw him the final week. And it's just this very sad thing.
Well, when Doug Stanhope and I were working together on the Man Show, the bastardized second version of the Man Show,
I remember,
was when he got gangrene in his leg.
I remember that in Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, he almost lost his leg, and then he came back from that, and everybody was hoping that he was gonna clean up and get his shit together, but. For whatever reason, what's
burned
really
brightly.
important? Yes,
he burned brightly, and he's gone.
Yeah, what was important though about his artwork, what he did was he was so prolific, and constantly, and his
super
style,
disciplined,
very disciplined, and his style is like a really difficult style to be prolific with.
Yeah,
because it's all like weird observations that are non sequiturs, one non sequitur after another.
Yeah, I know. I have this memory when. It always feels like a blur, but like I remember when he passed away, and there was a memorial service like at Caroline's in New York, and I was standing on the street with Dave Attell and my wife and Mitch's mother, Mary, and she's passed away now, and Dave and Mary were smoking cigarettes, and then Dave goes, it was gonna sound trite the way I'm repeating it, but Dave has a profoundness to him that kind of gets away with this. He was just like. We'll always have the albums. We'll always have the albums. And it's true. There is something to that. It's like we lose a lot of people, but with Mitch, we have this really special thing. Like we have these beautiful comedy albums, which are like a moment in time that are perfect jokes and like perfect wisdom. Like they're wisdom. Like there's wisdom in Mitch's comedy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree. They're one of those things where, some of his jokes are just so preposterous, but other ones, you'll just listen to it and you just go, what the fuck? Like my favorite is, somebody asked me if I wanted a frozen banana. I said no, but I want a regular banana later. So yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Like they're just so that's so uniquely him, and almost like there's like a vein of that comedy that goes from I guess like Stephen Wright, who's got that sort of absurdist, weird way of looking at things, but then Mitch would take it to a totally new place
and a totally personal place. Like I remember that he has this joke, and I'm gonna kind of mess it up, but because I don't remember people's jokes that well, but like where he goes, I said a thing, and then someone didn't hear me that well, and then they asked me to repeat it, and then it's the steamboat operator joke, and I'm forgetting how he gets to it, but it's about being it's ultimately about being misunderstood. I feel bad. I went down that road thinking that my brain, maybe I need some more of these chemicals. You have the HGH or something, not HGH, but all these things. I have a fancy coffee that is super good that with the butter in it.
Yeah, bulletproof coffee.
It's not working for me yet. But,
well, it's early, man. For a comedian,
good.
there's a joke. I'm trying to find the Mitch
if
Hedberg
you YouTube steamboat operator, you'll find that joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find.
I gotta say, like one of the things even like hearing you talk before we started talking, the thing that I admire about your comedy and Mitch's and like Stanhope's my favorite comic by far. And the reason why, and it's the same thing that you have, and all the comics are Maria Bamford. No one could steal their jokes.
Oh, they do.
But you can't steal them and have the other person wouldn't. It wouldn't go so well as it will for you.
No, well, yeah. isn't that the beautiful thing about comedy when it comes from your personality? You know,
Yeah.
when like you listen to a Mitch Hedberg joke, you know, like the DoubleTree Hotel
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
You know, like he mines in a way that I would never mine. You know, like he mines for material in a way. Like here it is. I wrote a letter to my dad. I really enjoy being here, but I accidentally wrote rarely instead of really. But I still wanted to use it, so I crossed it out and wrote I rarely drive steamboats, Dad.
There's a lot of shit you don't know about me. Quit trying to act like I'm a steamboat operator. This letter took a harsh turn right away. That's like one of my favorite jokes of all time.
That's a perfect joke. That was a great impression, by the way.
But isn't that exactly like that's like a piece of philosophy? I think.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not just a joke. I really do think that.
Well, it's a piece of Mitch.
It
you know
is.
that in Attell's way of saying it. You know, we still have the albums. We do. We have that. You know?
Yeah.
We do have that. Yeah. That's one of the coolest things about the art form. You know, the insight into how a person's mind functions and how they put together material that, you know, like Gaffigan. Like I don't think like Gaffigan. Is that his writing up there?
Yeah, isn't that great?
I don't believe people believe in
Is that the
ghosts,
documentary I was
but they
talking
don't
about?
believe in themselves. I know
Yeah.
people believe in ghosts, but they don't believe in themselves. That's a great
We
line.
should tell people what the URL is of that site because it's on YouTube. This documentary where Lynn, his widow, Lynn Shawcroft, who's a very funny comic as well, is in the cabin that they shared, and she takes out his notebook and she's showing what it was in his notebook.
Yeah, and their cabin was up in Big Bear, right? Like when he
Yeah,
got
in
a
Big Bear,
development
yeah.
deal, you know, some people go out and they buy a Mercedes. He bought a cabin in Big Bear.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
You know what he said to me once? It's funny looking at this notebook. Mitch goes to me. I opened for him, and it's the first time I ever featured. It was a Joker's Comedy Club in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, I know the place.
And he goes, don't ever show a girl your notebook because she's not supposed to know about it. She's just supposed to see the final jokes on stage.
That's so true.
Isn't that true?
When you date girls and they see your act over and over and over again, and they just
all over.
lose all the
Yeah.
magic.
You have to either marry them or break
Yeah.
up with them. Yeah.
You got to do one or the other.